Familiar faces every day here at PAX. I know you saw him yesterday, but now we're seeing him again today. What's up, nerds? We're back, PAX East 2025, and they say lightning doesn't strike in the same place twice. Well, guess what, nerds? It just did. Battle Athlete. Let's go check out what behavioral entertainment has to say about Dead by Daylight.
Yeah! Hey, what's up, gamers? It's Battle Athlete here, and I'm here with
Mathieu Côté. I'm the head of partnerships for behavior.
So yeah, we're here for Dead by Daylight. You got some new collaborations that you're working on, Five Nights at Freddy's?
Yeah, that's the big one. So we were here yesterday. We had our big celebration. It's our 9th anniversary right now, and it's kind of nice to be back at PAX because we actually showed the game for the very first time 9 years ago in a little tiny little booth over there, like so many of the really cool indie people do here.
Nearly a decade of Dead by Daylight. I mean, that's a crazy journey.
It's insane. And since then, we've changed quite a lot, but we continue to run this as our love letter to horror as a general thing. It used to be much more, like at the beginning, it was much more focused on the 70s and 80s slasher movies, very classic stuff.
Right.
But
Freddy,
we've
Jason.
expanded quite a lot to what it means to be part of Dead by Daylight, and we've had so many licenses, a lot of original content, but it's the licenses that tend to make people talk a lot. Five Nights at Freddy's is the last one that we announced. It's big.
Yeah, that was just yesterday, right?
Yes, yeah. I can still feel the vibration in the auditorium when we announced it. We had a few surprises. We have, not only do we have Springtrap as a killer, which, by the way, is the first time you can play as Springtrap in a game instead of just being chased by him, but we also have the version from the movie.
Right.
So Matthew Lillard's
I wanted to get it. I'm a huge Matthew Lillard fan.
He's such a cool guy.
He's, in my opinion, he's probably one of the most underrated actors of all time. I loved him in a lot of his past movies. Salt Lake City Punk, Scream. And then I saw him in FNAF, and I was like, he's still got it.
Absolutely.
And I heard you screen captured his face, correct?
We did not, because we do it from scratch, but it is his real face. It's his likeness. But he did record all the voice lines for the character in the game. So there's this, level of authenticity.
I did see you post a video about that when he was doing the voice acting, and he was like, I got to get into that. Yeah. He's like, I got to get into an ape mode to get into character. And I was like, man, I love behind the scenes stuff like that.
We tried to bring as much authenticity to the stuff that we introduced into Dead by Daylight. We've been doing that for years. We just talked about The Witcher, by the way. There's a collection coming with The Witcher. We have Doug Cockle, the original actor that voiced in the video game. He's voicing the character of Geralt in our game. It's just like as much as we can bring in, even if it's just for us to geek out and meet these people and actually introduce them, it's amazing.
To be honest, I feel like one of the most impressive things, aside from getting the IPs to Dead by Daylight, is the way that you do justice to them and their movesets. Like when you did Pyramid Head as well, I was like, how would you do that? And you found a creative way with like the string of like spikes coming out of the ground that go through objects, and I just find that really impressive.
So much.
Yeah, that's not easy to do.
Because it is so important for us. Whenever we work with licensors, we work with partners to bring their property, their babies, they created something that we admire, and we decide to bring it in our game, and we do everything that we can to do it justice, to pay homage to what they stand for, to what they've created. And each and every time we sort of get obsessed over, like, I don't know, a lot of people on the team were telling me like they watched hundreds of hours of Markiplier playing Five Nights at Freddy's because he's a reference, right?
Absolutely.
And then like we sort of obsess and sort of fall into a deep hole of research. Whenever we start on a new chapter, it becomes the most important thing we've ever done.
It's clear that you have a lot of respect for the IPs that come to it. It's not just grabbing what you can for whatever. You clearly have an appreciation, a love, and a respect for what you bring over.
Absolutely.
As well as knowledge, yeah.
But also we kind of need them to make sense, but they can't just all be very classic and expected. We've done things like, for instance, adding Iron Maiden or Slipknot, right? Because the iconography of metal and horror,
they go hand in hand, in my opinion.
They fit so well together. And also, just if you look at the Venn diagram of metalheads and horror fans, there's a big overlap.
I mean, dude, Rob Zombie going to director, and he makes his own horror movies.
Very true.
It's the same thing.
Yeah, and then we've done side steps like Nick Cage, right? He's not purely horror, but if you get a chance to bring Nick Cage into your game, you fucking do it.
Yeah, I mean, he's like, yeah, he's perfect for that. He's got so much personality. You know, when he does his trademark Nick Cage freakouts and crash outs, yeah.
And we were lucky he recorded voiceovers for his character in the game. Of course, he recorded voiceovers. You can't have a sound alike of Nick Cage.
No,
it's got to be true, or
it's not the same.
You're not doing it. And yeah, it's been quite a journey for us.
Yeah, to look back, it's got to be almost humbling and daunting. And also, I think it's important to look back to know your roots.
To be fair, coming to PAX and having like a face full of direct passion from people and seeing cosplayers and seeing people who come in and share their stories of what Dead by Daylight means to them.
Right.
It's such like it fills us with this buzzing energy.
I think it reminds you how important this is, not just to you, but other people. I think that
100%.
when you put a face to your audience, yeah, you put a face to your audience, and when they come up to you, you see both the good and the bad.
And it's easy to sort of get bogged down, especially if you have your nose to the grindstone the whole time and you're working on the next thing and the next thing, and the cadence is pretty intense what we've set up for ourselves. And it's easy to lose track of the impact that we have on people. It's easy to fall into the subreddits where people scream about details that then we care a lot about, but overall people are happy with the game. They're having a good time. A lot of people are here. They're super fans. They play thousands of hours, and then they come here to wait in line to be able to play with their friends. It's amazing.
By the way, I really appreciate your time today. You know,
It's a pleasure. Are we done yet?
yeah. Sorry, did I take too much time? My bad.
No. I would have continued. Like, this is nice.
No, I'm enjoying this. Honestly, we could cut this and we could keep on talking. Honestly, I'm a gift to gab.
As much.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Maybe the release date of when can we expect
We don't have an exact release date right now, but I can say it's our next chapter. So the next one coming in the coming weeks, Five Nights at Freddy's. But as usual, we will continue the cadence. We have a lot more surprises. In our stream we had yesterday, we hid a number of clues as to what the next license is. There's already quite a lot of speculations and theories and tinfoil hats online. It's
I love that. I love that. Yeah, I appreciate it. I thank you so much for the time. And yeah, I can't.
By.
Yeah, of course. And I can't wait to hear Matthew Lillard in the new game. Like I said, I'm a huge fan, so I'm really excited about it. Thanks.
Very cool.
Yeah.
We've hung out together.
We've drank coffee.
We've drank coffee. We've worked out. We worked out again.
We touched backs.
We touched backs right now. If you're President Dead by Daylight, what collaborative thing would you push for?
Anything with Matthew Lillard, so they basically already did it.
Well, you're already making this young boy's wish come true. Let's check in with the team to see what they got.
Yeah.
What's up, nerds? We're back. PAX East 2025 here with Indie.io, a publisher showing a few games at the show, but I want to know, and our viewers want to know, what is Indie.io?
Yeah, so we are a publisher, so we do a lot of everything for our devs. We leave the development to them, and then we really just kind of handle everything else, the store page curation, distribution, porting, QA, playtesting, design feedback. We do a little bit of it all.
Why is that important for an indie developer to have that kind of support? Specifically what Indie.io does, not necessarily what the publisher side does, but mission statement that kind of makes it a little different than all these other publishers, and you put your own little unique twist on it.
Yeah, so yeah, we very much want to empower devs to just be devs, and so we want to make sure that they can be as successful as possible. We really do a lot of like kind of networking between our devs to make sure that they get the full support from some of our bigger titles, so they can support our littler titles and that kind of thing. So we really just, we want our devs to succeed. We want them to have a good time, have an awesome game. They always have cool ideas. So it's like, if you're gonna have a cool idea, let's get it out there as much as possible and let's make some money.
And what does Indie.io look for in these indie teams that they support, that they kind of choose for their catalog?
Yeah, so we really just look at if you're a cool person and you got a cool idea. That's really all you need to be. So it's like, no matter what the game is, we really don't care about genre specifically or anything like that. It's just whatever you've got, if it's cool and we think we can market it, heck yeah, let's do it.
Speaking of what's cool, you have a lineup of titles here, but one of the titles that stood out to us, besides Shrine's Legacy, because that game looks dope, but today, Void Slayer, which has a release date, which we'll get to, so stick around. But tell us a little bit about Void Slayer.
Yes, Void Slayer is very much a Pokemon meets Darkest Dungeons. So it's got that grittiness. You have the town that you're trying to rebuild and kind of bring back to life a little bit. Meanwhile, you're catching these kind of like Lovecraftian creatures, and you're battling with them in the wild and against other foes and everything. Yeah, it's wonderful.
The graphics are very like, is this hand-drawn graphics? Or it's very kind of cartoony but grim.
Yes.
What's like for the roguelike elements, what do you see that, oh, this is why I like this game for you personally?
Oh God. I mean, personally, I love the Pokemons, the Mons of it all.
Yes.
They're so adorable, even in the most grim ways. It's the loot that you can get, and the getting to kind of go through the dungeons a little bit, and getting to kind of progress and choose where you want to go and all that.
And on that, when can players probably get their hands on that?
Absolutely. We just announced it is coming out on June 2nd.
June 2nd. Steam page up for wishlisting and all that, so go check it out. Is there a demo or anything?
Demo is currently live on Steam.
Easy. There's something for you to play right now. And so what are you doing? Wait, don't go. Stay. Okay, now you can go play. I was just kidding. Thank you so much, and thank you for your time, and we'll see you soon. Here with DreadXP, looking at an early access game, White Knuckle. And here's the developer. Tell us a little bit about your development studio and White Knuckle.
Yeah, so I'm Holly. I'm the lead dev of White Knuckle. We're part of Dark Machine Games. There's 3 of us currently working on White Knuckle, which came out in early access on the 17th of April, so just a little bit ago. Yeah, and White Knuckle is a roguelike speed climbing game. That's also a horror game. That's also a lot of other games. It's doing a bunch of stuff.
Because rock climbing wasn't scary enough for you guys, you had to put a little spice on it.
You know, the thing is, right, like when you look at other climbing games, or rock climbing in real life, there is an innate sense of tension, right? The danger of falling, the danger of what you're in the middle of doing. And we realized that we could ramp that tension up if we also make the game really scary and we give active threats that you have to avoid. It just makes it that tension like 10 times worse, you know?
I know the game is in early access and you can kind of get feedback from context and written little reviews from your community, but what is it like seeing the game being played IRL here at PAX East?
Oh, it's been wild to see. Having people come up that like that are playing it or just played it, or even like from the community who have come to say how much they love the game, and just watching people play it is always engaging.
Yeah. A little scary.
It's definitely. I'm not used to this. This is our first like game as a studio and my first like release thing. Like I used to work in serious games, doing like training things and museum stuff.
Boring.
I mean, it was fine. It paid.
What a climb.
It paid the bills.
Yeah.
I want to climb. I want to get up there. I want to get through this scary mega structure that you're trying to escape, you know?
I want to ask, with the gameplay, is it physics based? Is it momentum based? What can players expect when they get their hands on it?
Yes to both of those. There's physics and momentum. Momentum is a huge part of the game. Like you can swing and do longer jumps. There's rebar you can throw to make a handhold at a distance, but it also gives you a boost. So if you throw it downwards, you'll fly into the air and you can use it to quickly ascend and go faster and faster and faster. So there's so much of that. And so how it plays, for those who haven't played it, you have your left hand and your right hand, and you can grab stuff with left and right click, one for each hand. So you have to go from like handhold to handhold, mantle over objects, throw physics props around. It's got a little bit of an MSIMI vibe, despite being a roguelike.
It gets pretty intense. I've been watching people play it here at the show, and it definitely gets a little overwhelming in terms of me. I'm like, I try not to backseat game, but I'm really excited to see speedrunners attack this.
I recommend watching some speedruns. It's crazy. There are people who just like fly through levels. They find tech that I didn't even realize existed, you know? They're using every item to their advantage, and they're just absolutely cruising through all the regions of the game. Even like proficient players, once you're able to get to the end of the current early access content, you're really flying through. There's a real like learning curve of your own abilities as you get through the game.
So throughout early access, can you tease like maybe a future update that our news coming out in the future that players can look forward to through this early access period? And
Yeah, so right now there are 3 regions of a planned 7 regions for the full game, not including things like shortcut regions and other stuff. There's other game modes we're working on as well. One of the first major updates we're planning on releasing is going to be challenge maps, which is basically like imagine there were like time trial levels and things that were more specifically designed that weren't in the roguelike format, but you could get better and better times on for leaderboards for the people who enjoy that. There's a lot coming.
Yeah, and well, you won't have to look far because Noisy Pixel will be covering all of White Knuckle's upcoming releases and news. And keep it locked to Noisy Pixel. And thank you for your time, Holly.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
I appreciate it. Listen, nerds. Day 3 of PAX puts a weight on you. But I know what I need. Gamerfuel. Bits. What's up, nerds? We're back with Atari at PAX East 2025 looking at an upcoming game, kind of a revival. No, what kind of? It is a revival. Missile Command Delta. Today we got
David Lowy from Atari.
And please let our viewers know, what is Missile Command Delta?
It's actually a really fun, interesting approach to what was the 1980s arcade game that a lot of people have played. Very simple premise. Missiles come down out of the sky. You have to shoot missiles up to intercept them. We worked with a great studio named Mighty Yell, known for a game they had done earlier named The Big Con. And I remember I was at GDC 3 years ago, talked to their lead, Dave Proctor, and he said, listen, Missile Command is one of my favorite games. I love it. But in my mind, it's a turn-based strategy game, card-based, right? So the missiles are represented by cards, and it's a turn-based game, a lot of deep strategy. And we mulled it over, and we're like, that just sounds so funky and different. We have to go ahead with this. It team's developed a great game. They brought in another studio by the name of 13 AM Games. Mighty Yell's really good at the narrative and the story and the environment. 13 AM Games really, really good at creating puzzles. So there's a couple of layers to this game. The core game mechanic is this card-based strategy game. But the premise is that you and 5 friends have gone into a decommissioned 1950s Cold War era bunker on a dare one night. You get locked in, and because you're there, the bunker comes alive. So there's this whole escape room venture where you have to solve puzzles and find clues, but periodically the alarms go off, and you got to sit down at a terminal and save the world from incoming missiles. So it's a very deep game. There's a lot of great stuff in it. There's some good character development. There's some dialogue in the game, not a ton, but based on the conversations you have and the decisions you make, it'll change the story arc and lead to different outcomes. So you have the core strategic tactical mechanic, you've got the escape room, and then you've got this game that could have any number of elements. So there's a lot of endings. So there's a lot of replayability to it.
Seeing gamers at PAX East kind of approach Missile Command Delta and sit down and play it, do you see older gamers coming for nostalgia and younger gamers coming for what the hell is this? I need to play it?
Yeah, you know, because we've got this cool setup, but we also have the trailer running, which gives people peeks of the game. We're getting folks from all ages. A lot of younger players are really intrigued by just some of these game routines, like the game loops, the different, that it matches them together, and the graphics draw them in. They're really excited. And a lot of players who grew up with it and are familiar with it are drawn to, oh wow, this is the game I know really well, but in a way I didn't expect. This is the first time we've put it in front of players. And we really didn't know what to expect. You're always hopeful. But I gotta say the reception's been really, really strong. People are taking it and playing for quite a while, 20, 30 minutes, wish listing it, telling us they can't wait for it to come out. It comes out during the summer. We haven't announced the date yet, but yeah, the reception's been great. And yeah, the older gamers just love to see something that they recognize, have some nostalgia for.
And I'm curious. In the pitching rooms, were you ever scared about kind of bringing this Missile Command game and like square peg round hole type of thing? Will players approach this game in the smart way that we're hoping for? Is that through playtesting? Is that through like Q&A? How have you been developing that game, Luke?
You know, some of it's a little bit of a leap of faith. We really like the work of this studio, right? What Atari does with the games that we publish on the Atari label is largely reinterpreting old IP, old games. You know, we work with Way Forward on Yours Rising. We're working with Monster on Fatal Run 2089. So that's kind of bread and butter. And sometimes what excites us most is the thing that seems the most unexpected. The developer has a strong vision for this. It sounds really compelling. It's gonna really surprise people. That's a lot of good ingredients. That's something that we lean into often, as opposed to doing something that's very predictable.
Yeah, and is this something that we can expect more from Atari in the future? Revisiting these old games with a modern light? Like I should say Yars Rising, and if you haven't played Yars Rising, I do suggest picking it up. A very unassuming, really fun, charming Metroidvania. No, they didn't even pay me to say that. I'm not...
It is a really good game. We brought a bunch of physical copies of it and sold out on day one here at PAX East.
And I'm curious.
It's sort of got a long tail. People keep discovering it. So yeah, really, like the Atari family has Digital Eclipse, which is known for retro collections and games like Power Rangers. Night Dive is part of our family, which is really known for remastering, some great PC classics and horror films. And what Atari does is two things. We bring the original games out, like we did with the Atari 2600 Plus hardware and the cartridges, and then we work with developers to completely reinterpret and modernize our games. And that's what you're seeing here with Missile Command Delta. So yes, a long answer to expect more of that from us.
Well, we'll definitely be sure to cover all of that on Noisy Pixel, and be sure to look out for the release date of Missile Command Delta when we cover it this summer. Thank you. Thank you. Day 3, PAX East 2025, here with one of our favorite publishers from Indonesia, Toge. Introduce yourself and please tell our viewers and readers a little bit about Toge Production.
So hello everyone, I'm Kashur from Toge Productions. I'm the community manager and also the one that helps marketing and publishing the games. So basically Toge Productions start off like a small indie team, which is now we are currently growing and expanding a lot, because right now we have 3 studios. We are mostly excited to announce more games that is coming to many platforms. And also we love to develop games which is like style on basic on gameplay, and also with pixel art style, because that's our specialty.
There seems to be a renaissance in indie game development right now, and just like really cool indie games that are being developed. But you're a publisher and a developer.
Yeah,
on the publishing side, you seem to have an eye for discovering some really cool gems like Coffee Talk. What goes into some of your what do you look for when you're publishing a game?
Oh, so Coffee Talk is actually our in-house development from Toge Productions. Yeah. So Coffee Talk, which is like the one that started all. So when we got Coffee Talk to be goes worldwide, the Coffee Talk make us to think if we can publish games from other studios. So when we are finished develop Coffee Talk, then we go to let's try to make publishing site and try to reach more audience and more studios. That's why we come to PAX East and a lot of conventions, so we can reach out to different indie studios.
And speaking of in-house development, you have a game showing here, Whisper Mountain Outbreak. It's one of the newest games that you guys have revealed, releasing this year?
Yes, it will be releasing this year on Q3.
Can you tell us a little bit about Whisper Mountain?
Whisper Mountain Outbreak is like a zombie game. So you play up to 4 players, but you can play it single player too. And the game is based on some sort of magical place, but it's like based on Indonesia. And so the zombie is like some sort of like eldritch horror. So you're going there and you need to recover the mysteries and also recover the puzzles and what's gonna happening over there. Because the zombie outbreak is some sort of like a failed ritual gone wrong. And that's why you have to go there like some sort of agent. And you play as a player. Yeah, you need to scavenge for items. If you play Resident Evil, it's kind of similar vibes to it, but we try to make it more reasonable for new players to entry to get into the game, because we have an art style which is not that scary, because we know sometimes horror games are scary and not all people like want to play it, and that's why we like to make more people that, oh, this is cute, I want to try it, but it is kind of scary when you play it.
I like that approach though, because not only in this game is specifically that you guys have this nostalgic retro design with pixel art in it, and it's gorgeous. But also with this game, you decided to put Outbreak and there's multiplayer in this game, like Resident Evil Outbreak, and those callbacks are really cool. So how does multiplayer work in this game?
So yeah, basically we have the inspiration from Resident Evil Outbreak, as you said. You can create a lobby, and you can invite your friends or randoms to join the lobby. So it's like invitation or code based, so you can just give out the codes and people will join you, or randoms can also join you.
Do you prefer to play solo or with players?
Of course, you need to play with other players because there's roles, so everyone have different specialties, and also there's puzzles which you need to cooperate with each other to solve.
When can players expect new announcements from Toge Productions in the future? Are you guys planning any summer announcements coming up? Can you tease anything for our viewers here?
Right now, the new demo is available on Steam, which is like the final demo, which gonna be expected you will see in the final release. So you can check that out on Steam right now. Okay. And the game will be released around July or August, but there's still no exact date yet.
Well, you can expect more coverage of Whisper Mountain, Outbreak, and Toge Productions. We love them. We love them. Just come to Noisy Pixel and expect more coverage of these games. Thank you. What's up, nerds? We're back, PAX East 2025. We've seen so many games on the show floor, and we cannot wait. You know what, Mark? I'm feeling a little, I need an energy boost. I think it's time for a dance break. What's up, nerds? We're back, PAX East 2025, checking out Dune Awakening with Funcom here, and it's been a pleasure following this game's development, but we're coming up to the finish line, so please give us the elevator pitch of Dune Awakening.
Oh, Dune Awakening. I mean, a lot of people are familiar with the movies. Hopefully, they've seen it. It's the TV series is out now. Yes, you are dropped onto one of the harshest planets, probably the harshest habitable planet in the universe. And you have to survive. You have to survive the first day surrounded by gigantic worms which will eat and destroy you. And then you're being hunted at nighttime. It is a harsh.
Yeah, good luck. Good. Yeah. No, it sounds very, very easy, but so not in the least bit actually. But how it's a survival online game. What's the genre? What are we looking at?
Yeah, it's. I mean, initially, it's a sandbox survival game at its core, but with some additional MMO elements. We've kind of tried to blend things. It's not the traditional game. I mean, we didn't want to sort of go down this sort of very narrow genre path. At its core, we got the Dune stories, the Dune books, and we tried to make the game fit within that lore, within that sort of golden pathway. So that's the kind of fun part of it, is trying to make something new based upon the existing literature. So yeah, we kind of blended different elements together and made something hopefully that people will engage with and like.
And the game has been in development, received some delays for quite some years, but has that time kind of allowed your team at the studio create what you want this game to be? Do you believe that it is in the place where you envisioned it years ago, and now it's like, yes, like Funcom was the right developer for this licensed game, and we showed up for it. Do you feel that is like where we're at now?
I certainly do. I mean, somebody asked me the other day, my mental vision. What vision did I have for the game? And I go, yeah, it's kind of got there, because we still, it's a big desert planet. I mean, that's kind of a constant, and we all have a kind of a preconceived knowledge of what the sandworms are and the Harkonnens. It doesn't matter where you come from. Everybody has a kind of some connection with the story. So yeah, I think we've realized it. I think it's gotten really close to it, but there was always one missing element to it. And it's still a big gap, and we have to fill it, and that's the players themselves, because we create the world, they fill it, they make it interesting, they do the unexpected things that we don't know, and that's the wonderful thing of sandbox survival games. That was the craziness that we introduced in Conan Exiles, where the players just did things we were not expecting, and it made it so much fun for us to watch as, we're like in the crowd now watching the world go crazy.
Yeah, any other developer would run away from that, but Funcom seems to invite it at any chance you guys seem to get. Seeing players experience it here, what's that like, kind of watching over their shoulders?
Well, I mean, I can see it. I can explain it on a more technical side, where we, as developers, we slave every day to make sure that two things are met. First of all, is the visual quality, because of our positions, but also the performance. And having both of those things functioning after so many years of pain, the survival game is on our side is making the game, But as we create it, it's having the player having a completely seamless experience in a very immersive game. That's where the joy comes in for us. And we tend to forget that because we're so focused on making those things function that when suddenly we see a player like laughing or like really enjoying or destroying one of his friends or something, and suddenly we're like, that's why we do this.
In kind of the reception that you've seen, is it positive? Like, is it like, oh, we should have watched this sooner? Does it make you more anxious? Like,
I'll always be anxious right up until way after launch. But when we were setting up for the booth downstairs, we grabbed people from other booths around just to help sort of set up computers and just, can you play for a few minutes to make sure the servers are running fine? No problem. And the woman behind me started screaming when the worm got her. And I was like, yeah, I know that sound effect. I know that sound effect from when we were playtesting the first time we tested the worm on the desert with a lot of people, because we knew it works with one or two chasing after them. But we had 30 devs running across the desert, and it was carnage. There was worms spawning everywhere. There was bodies. There was destruction. And I could hear people screaming down the corridor. It was a wonderful thing, and that reminded me of it. And now on the floor, I see people dying from the worm, and they're smiling. And I go, yeah, that's the sort of response we got. We don't want frustration. We want sort of like, oh man, it got me.
And then they realize, oh, I lost everything.
Where did all my stuff? Yeah, it's in the sand. It's definitely in the sand. It's a testament to game development to kind of let things cook. I know that's also reaching out and interacting with your community about delays and looking back at those announcements now. Do you feel like this is like those were all the right choices? Yeah, I mean, you don't want a business choice would be, let's release the game, get it out there, make a little bit of money and hope for the best. But we wanted to make sure that we made not only the game that was true to the lore and true to the it's the holy grail of sci-fi in many ways, but it was good. It was good fun. It was a game that we want to play ourselves, and I think all game devs want to do that. And we were lucky to have the time and be allowed the time to do that right, and to make changes, to make mistakes, and to keep on iterating, keep on moving forward. We learn from our mistakes, but then we make a whole bunch of new ones. And I think this was the case. We learned from Conan Exiles, we learned from all the MMOs that we've worked on in the past, and then we introduced a whole bunch of new crazy challenges for this one. And we won't know until the game launches, and we'll see how the players react. I mean, we had people beta testing extensively for this, and they were absolutely invaluable. They gave us so much feedback, and every morning in the director's room we would just be talking over what they did and the crazy things that happened to them and all the lessons we learned from the people testing the game. And that's what will happen when the game goes live. You'll just keep on responding and fixing and adding to the world. Besides the sandworm, which is a huge part of the chaos, is there something in particular about this game that strikes out to you that maybe is not talked about a lot and that you like to kind of just throw to players like, hey, we also have this cool survival mechanic or interactive element to the game that maybe is not highlighted enough? What's your favorite system in the game?
Just let alone just the vehicle system itself. We're talking about just running around on the ground, but the vehicle system and Mario's team creating those vehicles is just another game in itself, and another perspective on the universe in itself, because your perception of the world changes entirely when you start flying.
Would you say that a solo player can get the same experience as multiplayer, or you should work together? Like, what would you advise a new player approaching this game do?
Do whatever you want to do.
Oh, easy.
It works for different, if you want to play with your friends, it works perfectly fine. If you want to join a larger guild, you can do that. If you want to join the Harkonnens or Atreides, do that. If you want to play single player, you can get through 80% of the world. There's no barrier. You don't hit an end. You don't hit a barrier you can't get past. You just keep on playing. We had the deep desert content, which we thought...
I say that.
Yeah.
I mean, the unifying thing is the danger of the planet.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to try to survive at first. But then once you've done passing those basic barriers, it's all about who you are yourself, and how you want to play that game.
Yeah. We find people, playing the multiplayer content by themselves and managing to do it somehow. So yeah, it's the unexpected stuff that it's really fun for us to see. But yeah.
Well, we're definitely looking forward to seeing all of that unexpected chaos when the game launches on June 10th. That's Dune Awakening, and you can expect all the coverage on noisypixel.net. Thank you, guys. What's up, nerds, and welcome back. PAX East 2025. We're here with Audie from Carbon Engine, looking at their newest game, Bubsy. Audie directed the game. We also have Sam here from Atari, who is working on producing the game, and we're very excited to highlight such a unique, exquisite, fun,
Historic,
challenging. It turns into semicolons after a while. Bubsy, and not only Bubsy, but this is the awesome collection.
Perfect collection.
The perfect collection.
You gotta get the pun in there.
Please.
How long have you been there?
Yeah, dude, it's my first day.
Yeah.
Please let us know about Bubsy, because he was a star in my world. What does Bubsy mean for a modern gaming release?
I mean, for me personally, it's a mascot character that I grew up with. It was the character that kind of opened up video gaming to me and made it. I got it in '94 in Europe. I'm European. And it was just a character that I gravitated towards because it was something where he felt approachable, he felt cool, felt like it was kind of something that opened up video gaming to me. There wasn't like a war game, a simulation game, or anything like that. This was a character that I kind of looked up to, and kind of being a shy kid, sort of like, I kind of want to be like him. So for me, he was an eye-opening character and historic in that sense. Through the years, I mean, Bubsy has been something that's just prevailed, right, in history. Most of these mascot characters, I think, are a little bit of a bygone era, right? Now, as we have grown up, we're adults, at least in age. I can't speak for us as people. But, we can reflect a little bit and figure out, like, rather than being cynical, like, what were these characters to us? And they were important. For me, he has an extremely important history, but also for so many that have been here on the show floor, we're noticing, and even younger kids discovering him now, there is some special quality to him that still opens eyes and hearts to video gaming.
And from a publisher standpoint with Atari, what is it like bringing and helping games like this reach? Is it something that is in your mission statement? Is it something that you enjoy seeing players? Are we going to see more of this from Atari?
Yeah, I mean, so we released Atari 50, right, which is a big celebration of all things Atari. You have all the games in there, but you also have this sort of like historical element where we're sort of educating people about these games, the context of when they were released, what the industry was like when they were released, and that's sort of what we're also doing with the Bubsy collection here. As infamous as the games are, there's still a history behind them. There is the context of understanding what was happening at the time when they were being released. It's really important.
And I think what's also as important is context about what the perfect collection actually has in it. Can you let us know what it? This is not just Bubsy. This is the Bubsy release. Like, can you let us know?
Perfect collection, right? So it has every game in the classic era of Bubsy. So it has the Super Nintendo game, the Bubsy 2. It has every version of them, so you got the Genesis as well. Thanks to our partnership with Atari, we are able to leverage their technology and include the Jaguar game for the very first time since its original release. And that's really awesome because we weren't sure at first as we approached this project, like the Jaguar is not a very well documented system. So it's kind of like up in the air. Can we include this? What can we do? We have to reverse engineer it. But thanks to their technology, we could include it in our close partnership with them. It was kind of like a no-brainer. We also have the infamous Bubsy 3D. And also, interestingly, we have the Japanese localization of the original game. It was released in Japan. It was the only one. It is completely localized and uses references to Japanese movies and folklore rather than American stuff. So we have that, and like other Carbon Engine games, there will be a museum mode. So you'll get video interviews, you'll get development documents, you'll get the full context of why these games were special and bring you back to understand it in context. So it's not just a misplaced piece in gaming, but rather you kind of understand what was this character, where did it come from, and what made people open their eyes then and then also now.
Games that come out from the Carbon Engine, they're very authentic to when the game released, but you are also allowed to maybe make some fine tweaks, add a museum mode to it. What have you guys kind of brought to this release from a modern standpoint? What can modern players expect?
So the Carbon Engine across systems allow for like stuff like rewind, quality of life stuff, save states, borders, but we also preserve the games authentically, like you mentioned, so you can play it as is. But also in reevaluating the game, we do allow for some modifications. So Bubsy 3D, for example, will have widescreen, native not widescreen, better controls. It will allow you to kind of reevaluate the game if you're familiar with it or not, kind of like see what were they going for, what didn't work back then, maybe it works better now with these enhancements. That's up to you. That's kind of like something we love doing with Carbon Engine, is taking the games on their original merit and seeing what we can do within the framework of that, and include some enhancements so that even a game that often is discussed in negative light could maybe come through in some positive aspects.
That's the interesting thing about these games is because with Bubsy, you mentioned you kind of grew up with it, and now you're working on the title and bringing it to new audiences. What's it like kind of watching people play it? And moments ago, we saw a young kid come up. I didn't expect my lifetime to see someone pick up Bubsy 3D and experience their first time with it, but I'm sure
having fun. I think that that's important.
Yes,
because these games, and that's what's so important with Atari and Carbon Engine at Limited Run is preserving these games and allowing them to be played on modern systems is not just about, bringing them back and moving on, right? It's about actually re-evaluating a lot of these games. And I think what people notice when they play it for themselves, like Bubsy 3D, is that like, I've heard this is really bad or this or that, but when you play it yourself, it's like, this is actually kind of fun. And kids especially are able to kind of bypass the cynical nature of that and just kind of connect with the game. It's a character that speaks to them, literally. It was a character that saved my life. I've famously talked about this in other interviews, but, I went through a slump in my career. I made a documentary at Digital Foundry about Bubsy, and it completely reignited my career. So before I even joined Limited Run, before I started helping out with Atari, it was a character that like literally had saved my life. It has been one of the best collaborations I've ever had in my career. So I'm really happy to see just like Bubsy come back and being able to be part of that.
Yeah, and I think from a coverage standpoint, we love seeing in the game industry these success stories, these dream kind of moments. Can we expect more after this release of Bubsy?
We own the Bubsy IP. We are hoping that this collection introduces him to a new group of people, a new generation, some new appreciation for the IP, and then we will see what happens in the future. There might be more Bubsy to look out for.
And I'm definitely positive that I could say that so many
positive.
Oh yeah, I'm I'm confident in saying that our readers and viewers definitely appreciate the attention that these publishers are giving to titles maybe 6-7 years ago weren't in the books or weren't in the, but now today we just want to have fun. Show me halfway, but my imagination will do the rest. And I think developers in recent Atari releases are figuring this out.
I saw this child. He was playing Bubsy 3D for like an hour. He was like slowly figuring out the way everything worked, and he was having a great time. His parents had to pull him away from the system, and I think that's like part of the goal here.
Do you have a release date? No. What's going on? When can we get Bubsy in our hands?
So I'm not at liberty to say. So Limited Run Games and Carbon Engine are developing it with our great friends. So I think that's still being figured out by the publisher of the game. So I would just stay tuned over the summer. There are a lot more news coming out about features, about probably release dates and release plans. So I would just stay tuned. You should always stay tuned for anything Bubsy.
Yeah, and we'll be sure to cover Bubsy up to its perfect collection release whenever it comes. So be sure to keep watching Noisy Pixel. I was gonna say a rock. No one wants to throw a rock into a room. Maybe a pillow, a fluffy, light pillow, anywhere, any direction, and it'll hit a
Pikachu pillow.
A Pikachu fluffy pillow in my hand. You could throw it anywhere in this room, and it'll hit a gamer. 100%.
Yeah, I think that's pretty accurate.
Yeah. Did the math. The time has come. PAX East 2025 has come to a close. And you know what? We had some good times. We saw some games, we saw some gamers, and we had some fun. So thank you so much for making this possible, and we can't wait to show you what we got going on during PAX West 2025. Until then, we got a sandworm to catch.
Oh yeah.
It's really comfy too.
Yeah. Makes weight off.
Yeah, it does.
Noisy Pixel, after hours.
Yes to both of those. There's physics and momentum.
What's up, nerds? We're back. PAX East 2025 here with Ultra Colt. Did I say that? No, fuck.
Not even remotely.
Damn. I told you I'm bad with names. Put it in the blooper reel. Jessica from Terrible Posture Games.
Yes, we did it.
Critical Reflex. But today we're looking at Denki Works Tanuki Ponds
Summer.
You're almost there. Here with Fabrice Studios looking at fuck. And we can't wait to talk to Matt.
Jack.
Cool. Crazy Studios. Okay. More coverage of Whisper Mountain Outbreak. Tell us a little bit about Void Slayer.
Yes, Void Slayer is
battle for you. Fuck. Yeah, well, you can expect Noisy Pixel to be covering more of Tanuki's Ponds. God damn it.
Summer.
Fuck, I got it right at the end.